kids through her youth literacy program is her passion, but a car accident took that away
What a wonderful time to be alive. What an absolute wonderful time to be alive. If you're a sports fan, if you're an NFL football fan, what a time it is to be alive, isn't it? What a time it is to be a football fan. What a time. If you're a fan of professional football, what a time to be alive. Whether your team wins or loses, what a time it is to be alive. What a time it is to be alive. You know what I'm saying? What a great time to be alive if you are a football fan. Like myself. Welcome everybody, this is your boy, Retro Recap. Welcome to the first edition of our new podcast, our new sports podcast, the Double R Podcast. On here, you will see me talk about Ravens primarily. We may talk about other teams, but our primary focus is the Ravens. And I thank you for being here. As I said yesterday, what a wonderful time to be alive, to be a football fan, right? Whether your team wins or loses, football is back, baby. Football is back. No more preseason football. No more watching backups play. No more time watching backups play. No more time watching the starters play for a series or two. You're getting starters the entire 4 quarters, and in some cases beyond 4 quarters. You know what I'm saying? I'm hyped because both my teams in this market, in the Maryland market, are expected to do great things. The Baltimore Orioles are expected to do great things. They're 90 wins. The Ravens, as we're getting ready to talk about, got their first win of the season already, 1-0. If you are a fan of professional football, this is the place you want to be. Welcome everybody. Like I said, this is your boy Retro Recap, the Double R Podcast show, where if you missed this podcast live, you will be able to catch it on the VOD on YouTube. This is something I'm thinking about doing every Monday, and we'll just have to see how it goes. All right, let's go ahead and get into it, everybody. The Ravens, they beat the Houston Texans 25-9 yesterday, Sunday afternoon, 1 p.m. game, to a sold-out crowd. And actually, I actually wanted to go to that game, and I do see myself going to one of the Ravens games this year. So let's talk about the game. So we know coming into the season, Lamar got paid. You got Odell Beckham Jr. You drafted Zay Flowers. Rashad Bateman's coming back from injury. You signed Nelson Aguilar. You still got Devin Duvernay. You knew there was a lot of excitement going into this season with the Baltimore Ravens offense. The question is, especially for week 1, how was it going to look? How was this new offense with all these new pieces? Todd Monken as the offensive coordinator. You know what I'm saying? Odell Beckham coming back from injury. He hasn't played since 2021 Super Bowl against the Cincinnati Bengals. How is he going to look? Zay Flowers, he's a drafted rookie, first round draft pick, but we didn't know how he was going to look when he got drafted. We knew he was explosive. We knew he had the agility, the cuts, the movement, the catchability, but we didn't know how he was going to look. Nelson Aguilar, he's been with the Eagles. He's been with the Raiders. He's been with the Patriots. You know what I'm saying? But we don't know how all this is going to mesh. We knew the Ravens were a run-first team with Greg Roman as the offensive coordinator. Todd Monken, he's more of a balanced guy. You know, let's go with what works. So if the running game is working, we're going to stick with the running game. If the passing game is working, we're going to stick with the passing game. If we come in with a run heavy mindset and it's not working, let's pass it up in mid game, making adjustments in mid game. That's what Todd Monken's about. In Georgia, he used the tight ends a lot. You know what I'm saying? He turned Stinson Bennett into a world champion on the college level. So there's a lot of optimism going into the season with the Ravens. Can we turn Lamar, or can we unleash Lamar? Because I'm not gonna say let's build on the project of Lamar, because I think Lamar's already established himself as a pro quarterback. You know what I'm saying? He's a pro quarterback. He's already won an MVP. So let's put a little bit of respect on Lamar Jackson's name in terms of, can he do it? He's won an MVP with less. You know what I'm saying? So coming into this season, we were wondering about, is Lamar going to have to play Superman role? Because that's basically what he was doing since 2018. He's played the role of Superman. I don't know the exact percentage, but it's damn near to say he accounted for 75% of the Ravens offense. Well, with the additions that I mentioned, the Odell Beckham, the Zay Flowers, the Nelson Aguilar, the new offensive coordinator Tom Munkin, the expectation was that Lamar does not have to be Superman anymore. So let's talk about week one. Coming into this game, I didn't know what to expect. I knew there was a lot of talent on this roster. The question was, could this talent mesh? Expectations going into week one, I did not expect to see all that talent meshing the very first week. One, they didn't play preseason. Lamar didn't play preseason. Odell Beckham didn't play preseason. Rashad Bateman didn't play preseason. J.K. Dobbins didn't play, in which we'll get into him in a minute. Gus Edwards played in the first game a lot. I don't think he played in the last game. The point is, this offense didn't really have a chance to gel in the preseason. All you got was practice, and then in some cases that didn't even happen much. J.K. Dobbins was mostly out of camp because of the quote-unquote, if you want to call it a hold-in, whatever you want. He wasn't playing for the contract reasons. And now you see why these teams are kind of hesitant to give out these contracts to running backs, because this could happen. Now, of course, it's sports. Anybody can get injured. So let's not act like injuries aren't a part of the game. But imagine if the Ravens gave J.K. Dobbins a contract, and then right after that, this happens. Look at what happened with Ronnie Stanley. They gave Ronnie Stanley a contract in 2020. Very next game, he's done for the year, and barely, and didn't play much of 2021. So, but anyway, we'll get into that in a second. Okay, so let's get back to the offense. What I observed, I know it's a lot of spread offense, a lot of receiver stacking on one side. Saw a lot of OBJ, Zay Flowers on one side. I even saw a few plays where I saw OBJ, Flowers, and Beckham. I'm sorry, OBJ, Flowers, and Bateman stacked up on the side. And I was like, okay, I like that. I like that style, because it tells me you're going to get your receivers involved. Bunch them up. When they come off the line, you don't know what route they're going to run. You know, it's hard to defend when you got three talented wide receivers. Nonetheless, all first round picks, by the way. Flowers, Beckham, Bateman, all first round picks. So you got three first round picks stacked to one side of the field. How do you defend that? So going into the season, I was telling people, like, how do you defend this offense? If you stack the box to stop the run game of J.K. Dobbins, Gus Edwards, Justice Hill, well, damn, you're leaving the receivers in one-on-one coverage. And we already know what Odell Beckham can do against single coverage. And just by looking at the footage of Zay Flowers, he wins one-on-one matchups with his cutting ability, his speed, his agility. He wins those matchups. And Rashad Bateman, we already know how Rashad Bateman gets down. When he's healthy, Rashad Bateman run after the catch, the route running ability, the catching ability. Rashad Bateman is the deal. He is the real deal. And I cannot wait to see what Rashad Bateman is going to do this year. And we'll get a little bit into that more as we go on in the season. But those guys have the potential on paper to be a dominant receiving core. So any one of those guys can win in their one-on-one matchups in single coverage. So if you stack the box, fine, you give those receivers one-on-one coverage. If you don't stack the box and you put more of an emphasis on covering those receivers with cover 2, You know what I'm saying? If you even want to play man-to-man, which I don't think you should do, you're going to have the Gus Edwards of the world, the J.K. Dobbins projected until he got hurt. But you got the running backs, and then let's not even forget Lamar. How do you defend Lamar? If you open up the field and not stack the box, Lamar has the ability to take off, which we saw. And I'll get into that in a little bit. So one of the things I noticed a lot of spread. The Ravens were definitely spreading their receivers out. A lot of bunch receivers to one side, the left side. Mostly is what I saw. I saw to the right side a couple times as well. Getting Zay Flowers involved definitely seemed like the intention in this game. And that's one of the things I'm liking about Tom Monken. You know who your playmakers are. Get them the damn ball. Get them the damn ball. You know how many times I hated in the Greg Roman offense where the running backs are cooking and then you stop going to the running backs? Like, get them the damn ball. They are good. They are all pro for a reason. Rashad Bateman is a #1 talent. Get him the damn ball. You know what I'm saying? And so Zay Flowers was heavily involved. Screenplays. That's one of the things that we didn't see a lot in the Greg Roman offense. We didn't see a lot of screenplays. Greg Roman was pistol heavy, the read option heavy, but screenplays was not in his arsenal. I'm looking forward to seeing that because you get Zay Flowers the ball early. As soon as the play starts, you drop the ball to Zay Flowers. We already know, based on the little sample size that we've seen and his tape in Boston College, when he has the ball in his hand, he makes things happen. Get him in space. So what the screenplay allows you to do, it allows you to get the ball early, allows Zay Flowers to do what he do best, make moves, make cuts, make people look stupid. He's like Lamar Jackson. Lamar Jackson with the ball in his hand, he makes people look stupid. You know what I'm saying? That's what Zay Flowers does. And honestly, I might even go on a limb and say Zay Flowers' cutting ability and agility and little wiggle, little juke may even be a little bit better than Lamar Jackson. You know what I'm saying? So get him the ball early. It was a couple times he got screenplays. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, yes, make this man utilize his skill set. Give him the ball early. And so that's a common theme that I'm seeing that I hope that I see throughout the season, is that Todd Monken calls Zay Flowers' number a lot, because boy, oh boy, he's gonna be filthy. And because you have these other receivers there, you're not gonna get a lot of double team coverage. You got OBJ, you got Bateman. If everybody stays healthy, Zay Flowers is going to cook. I promise you, Zay Flowers is gonna cook. The man had 9 catches, 78 yards. And he actually lost a few yards on a few of those plays. One of the plays, they threw a screen pass to him, back-to-back plays, it got negative yards. So if you take that out the equation, Zay Flowers would have had about 90 yards. The man is a beast. Let the man cook. You drafted him as a #1 receiver. Give him the attention of a #1 receiver. I know you got Rashad Bateman there. I know you got OBJ there. But I'm not going to lie to you. Zay Flowers looks to be the most explosive out of all of them. The only knock, and I don't even want to call it a knock, the only knock that I can say against Zay Flowers is that his size. But I think Todd Monken is going to be able to use his size to his advantage. And screenplays are one way to do that. You don't have to have this man going for jump ball plays, running routes that not going to create a lot of separation, even though he can create separation on his own because he's that damn good. But get him in space. That's what he's best known for. Get this man in space and let this man cook. I promise you, he's going to win one-on-one matchups. You don't need to make Zay Flowers into a Terrell Owens possession receiver or Devontae Adams. You know what I'm saying? This guy, DeAndre Hopkins, this man has a special skill set. Let the man cook. And I promise you, this offense is going to be great. Zay Flowers is very underrated, and I can't wait to see what he does in the future. Bergeron, great to see you, my guy.
Holy shit.
All right, let's move on. Like I said early on, Monken is looking to get him involved early. I like it. You got to remember, there was no Mark Andrews. You know what I'm saying? There was no Mark Andrews in this game. So we didn't even get to see the offense. So the offense was rusty. They didn't play together. You didn't have Mark Andrews, who we all know. I'm gonna be honest with you. I get that they upgraded in the wide receiver market. Lamar Jackson has always been a tight end quarterback. He loves looking for tight ends. He loves looking for Mark Andrews. He loves looking for Isaiah Likely. So even with the receivers that they got, Lamar Jackson is looking for tight end. So just wait till Mark Andrews comes back. Just wait when you have to defend that. And don't get me wrong, Isaiah Likely is very good, very talented. He's not Mark Andrews. So just wait till Mark Andrews gets in the offense. How do you defend that? You can literally not you can't double cover anybody on that roster. Nobody. You already seen what Mark Andrews can do when he's the primary option. He's double covered. He still puts up numbers. Now you got a supporting cast around him. Mark Andrews is going to eat. Zay Flowers is going to eat. OBJ doesn't even need to go crazy. OBJ just needs to be there as a distraction. You know what I'm saying? That's the thing. You know what I'm saying? So we're going to see whenever Mark Andrews comes back. Hopefully it's next week against the Bengals, because we're going to need him for that game. And I'll touch on that a little bit later. But Mark Andrews, he knows how to get open. Zay Flowers, he knows how to get open. OBJ, he knows how to get open. Rashad Bateman, he knows how to get open. Nelson Aguilar, when he's right, he can take the top off of a defense. So he can be right. This offense is going to be really good. All right, some more observations I learned about the new offense. One of my questions coming into the season, because Lamar Jackson said in the press conference when he got OBJ and he signed the contract, he said that he wants to break the passing record. He wants to get 5,000 yards. And I was like, whoa, Lamar Jackson, you've never had a 4,000 yard season. You want to stretch that to 5,000 yards and break the passing record? I mean, with the receivers that you got in Baltimore now, I can see why your mind is thinking. And there's nothing wrong with thinking big. You know what I'm saying? You want to get 5,000 yards. That's the way your brain should be thinking. Go out there and get it. And I know it's week one, and I'm not trying to be a Debbie Downer here, but if week one is an indication of that, you got a lot of work to get 5,000 yards, because you had, how many yards did Lamar have? 169 yards. In order to have a 5,000 yard passing season, you're going to have, it's possible they added an extra game to the season now, because people was getting 4,000, 5,000 yards in 17 game season, 16 games played. With the extra game, it's very possible. But if you got 169 yards, you know what I'm saying, in your first game, to get 5,000 yards, you got some work to do, man. You're going to have a couple, not a couple, you're going to have at least 10 300 yard games, a 400 yard passing game in there, at least to even scratch 5,000. So, you know, dream big, think big. I like that. I like that mindset. Think big, dream big, go out there and handle your business. You know what I'm saying? But we'll see. So one of the questions I had coming into this is, would Lamar Jackson run the ball more? And the answer to that question is yes. But it's not in the way that you think. So within the Greg Roman offense, Lamar Jackson was designed to run the ball. Like, actually, there were schemes and plays drawn to make Lamar run the ball. What I seen yesterday was a lot of improvising. Lamar Jackson running the ball out of there were no other options to throw the ball to, so he ran. And so I like that, and I think Lamar Jackson's okay with that, as opposed to the QB power, the QB sneaks. You know what I'm saying? Like, where he's just going head first into the pack. Like, we know Lamar Jackson can do that, but you don't want your franchise quarterback sticking his nose into business where he doesn't need to so many times. That's how injuries happen. The Lamar Jackson that I saw yesterday against the Houston Texans was more of a, okay, nobody's open, let me take the fuck off. And I'm okay with that. 6 carries for 38 yards. He had a couple of runs, very explosive runs. I'm like, okay, Lamar's back. Lamar's back. You know what I'm saying? Lamar is back. He looked pretty good running the ball. And you got to remember, Lamar Jackson, yes, he did look rusty in yesterday's game. This man has not played in a game, a regular season football game, regular season or postseason, since the Carolina Panthers last year. That was in 2022. We're almost at the end of 2023. Lamar Jackson has not played a football game since 2022 because he didn't play in the preseason. He didn't, and I forgot what week that Panthers game was, but it was towards the end of the season. So it was expected that Lamar Jackson was going to look rusty. 17 of 22, 169 yards, interception, 6 carries, 38 yards, scramble yards, as I mentioned, not design runs, but scramble yards. You know what I'm saying? Giro's system was designed for Lamar Jackson to run the ball. I still think he looks explosive. Even with the injury, I think Lamar Jackson looks explosive. I can't wait till the season goes on and we start to see how Lamar Jackson develops and gets that rust off. And if he has a good game against the Bengals, that'll be perfect time because the Bengals, whew, they laid an egg. Even though I know the weather condition in Cleveland was bad, I don't think Cleveland's gonna be a bad team. I think Cleveland has a chance to win 9 games. I don't think Cleveland Browns are a bad team. Deshaun Watson has always been a fan favorite of mine, minus the off the field stuff. I think Deshaun Watson is a very good quarterback. It was week 12, week 13. Yeah, it was definitely late in the season, that Panthers game where he got injured. So he hasn't played football in almost a full year. So the expectation was that Lamar Jackson wasn't gonna go out there and light it up. I definitely didn't think he was gonna light it up. You know what I'm saying? So the numbers that we got, I mean, 17 to 22, one of the tight ends dropped the ball. So really, he had 5 incompletions. One of them was a drop. It might have been more than that, but I remember one vivid drop. One of the tight ends, Charlie Kolar, who was on the roster, he dropped the ball. So Lamar Jackson was accurate. He had 1 interception. He was trying to get the ball to Zay Flowers, and it wasn't a good throw. He kind of just threw it in there, kind of low throw, picked off. I mean, it is what it is. You know, would I have loved to see Lamar Jackson get a touchdown? Of course I would. Would I have loved to see OBJ get a touchdown? Of course. But it's week fucking 1. It's week fucking 1. A lot of these guys didn't even play in the preseason. It's a new offense, new pieces. What we got is what I kind of expected. I did not expect the Ravens to drop 40 on the Houston Texans. On top of the fact that Houston's defense is pretty good. D'Amico Ryans, a former player who used to play for the Texans, defensive-minded coach, came from the 49ers system. The man knows how to play defense, and he made it tough for the Ravens. This was not going to be a cakewalk. If there was ever a time for the Ravens offense to look kind of sluggish, it would be this game. First game of the season. D'Amico Ryans, Texans defense looked pretty good. You know what I'm saying? They got weapons on that side. You know what I'm saying? And we'll get into that in a little bit because they definitely couldn't. When the Texans blitzed, the Ravens had no answer for that. They're going to have to work on that because I don't have the numbers in front of me, but Lamar Jackson got sacked quite a few times in this game. You know what I'm saying? Just straight up blitz just coming through. You know what I'm saying? Ronnie Stanley got beat one time. I saw Morgan Moses get beat one time. And then the straight blitz just coming straight at Lamar. You know, you would think, what was that, 2021, that year where they played the Dolphins? And that's really when I first saw the offense get exposed, when Miami just literally ran 0 blitz the entire game and the Ravens couldn't do anything. And I thought by this point, 2 years later, the Ravens would have some type of counter for the 0 blitz. They're going to need to work on that because there's no way with those receivers and the tight ends and the run that you should be getting constantly pressure like that, especially with Lamar Jackson having more control of the offense. He said in the interview and in one of the interviews before the season, he has more control and more freedom to run this offense than he ever has. Greg Roman never gave him that freedom to run the offense for whatever reason you may want to call that. Maybe Greg Roman didn't have confidence in Lamar. Maybe he didn't think Lamar was ready. Whatever the reason was, Lamar Jackson was not calling plays at the line, changing plays. He's doing that now. So one counter to the blitz. You've been running screen plays with Zay Flowers. Run that screenplay. Get the ball out of Lamar Jackson's hand quickly. Because if Zay Flowers gets the ball on an all-out blitz, oh boy, he's taking it to the house. Because if you're bringing everybody to the house to get Lamar, and you leaving Zay Flowers one-on-one on a screen pass, good Lord, he's gone. He's gone. So they're gonna have to make adjustments there, but I'm not mad. It's week 1. Like you said, it's a lot of slow starts. What did you expect? A lot of teams look at that. I mean, look at the New York Giants. I mean, the Cowboys are a good team, but the Cowboys aren't 40-0 better than the New York Giants. The New York Giants laid in a fucking egg. A brown fucking egg. And shout out to my man Jay the Kid, by the way. He's a big Giants fan. I know he wasn't too happy about his team getting obliterated like that last night. Anyway, everybody, welcome into the Double R Podcast, episode 1, featuring your boy Retro Recap. This sports podcast is will be on Twitch and YouTube every Monday. Primarily now for YouTube. Every Monday, we're going to kind of recap the game. This is mainly going to be Raven-centric. As time goes on, we'll talk more and more about other teams, but this will be Raven-centric right now. All right. Let's talk about the receivers real fast. Ravens need to trade for Saquon or Taylor. Yeah. Well, here's the thing. There was rumors floating around. About the, I don't know if it was last year. And I thought it was weird. I'm like, why are the Ravens interested in Saquon Barkley? You got J.K. Dobbins, you got Gus Edwards, you got Justice Hill. Why are you interested in Saquon Barkley? Then came around a couple weeks ago. Jonathan Taylor was looking out, and there wasn't no concrete news that the Ravens were looking to acquire him. But the Ravens have a thing for looking for running backs. When they signed Melvin Gordon, I was like, what the hell? But now the Melvin Gordon signing doesn't look that bad because now J.K. Dobbins is hurt, which we'll get into a little bit. Let me go over the receivers real. Well, before I get in that, O-line. You got names on O-line. I don't know why y'all play like this. You got Ronnie Stanley. You got Kevin Zeitler. You got Tyler Linderbaum. You got Morgan Moses. And I can't think of left guard on top of my head right now. But you got weapons. The offensive line on paper looks a lot better than what they looked like yesterday, and I'm very disappointed at the offensive line. That's one thing that they're gonna have to clean up, because Lamar Jackson, you just paid this man all that money. You can't have him just looking at free rushes right at him for the sack. Lamar Jackson is Houdini, but he can't be Houdini every single play. He cannot. Offensive line's gonna have to do better. And with the injury to Ronnie Stanley and Linderbaum, which we'll get into in a bit, I don't know how the depth is gonna hold up on offensive line. Receivers: Zay Flowers, 9 catches, 78 yards. OBJ, 2 catches, 37 yards. He did draw 2 pass interference calls, which were big. And if you're not going to catch the ball, if you can draw a flag, that's just as helpful, because both those calls, had it not been a flag, would have been first downs. He drew a flag. OBJ's impact is like I always say, Zay Flowers did the same thing in preseason. If you're not going to catch the ball, draw flags, because drawing the flag moves the chains as well. OBJ did that. Yeah, now in his post-game interview, he did sound he was not happy about the offense. And I don't want to say not happy like he was pissed off, but he's a receiver. He's a star receiver. He wants the ball. He wants more involvement. You know, he knows they're rusty, but he wants the ball. That's what I want my receiver to say. So he wasn't happy with the 4 targets. But what do you expect? Tiffy, what's up, baby? What do you expect? A receiver wanting the ball. Whoop the fucking do? It's a receiver. He's getting paid 15 guaranteed. If I'm the Ravens with a receiver getting paid 15 guaranteed, get him the fucking ball. The man is literally getting paid the most of receivers ever got paid with the Ravens. The most of receivers ever gotten paid. He better be asking for the ball, and the Ravens, you better be getting him the fucking ball. You better be getting him the fucking ball. You're paying him that much money. I'm not gonna get irritated because it's week 1. But Odell Beckham Jr. at least better be having 6 or 7 targets a game. At least. He's that damn good. But it's week 1. So I'm gonna pump the brakes a little bit. It's week 1. I'm gonna pump the brakes. Because we know what a healthy OBJ can do. But the Ravens better get him the fucking ball. They better get him the ball. They better get Zay Flowers the ball. They better get Rashad Bateman the ball. I know there's only one football to go around. You can't get the football to 3 receivers on one play. Well, technically you could, but we all know that's not conventional offense. Get these guys the fucking ball. This offense has a chance to be very explosive. Potential to be great once the chemistry gets down. Once you stack more games in. If we're still talking about this in November, December, that's a problem. I'm expecting this the first maybe 3 weeks of the season, 4 weeks of the season. After that, this offense better start moving. So, but that's just the Ravens fan in me. Yo, Itaza, what's goody with you? All right. OBJ, 2 catches, 37 yards, 2 pass interference. Rashad Bateman, 3 targets. He caught everything that was in front of him. Three catches for 35 yards. You know what I'm saying? My question to anybody out there, any defense, how do you guard this? Lamar Jackson is still a weapon running the ball. Lamar Jackson is a weapon throwing the ball. Odell Beckham can win one-on-one matchups. Zay Flowers can win one-on-one matchups. Rashad Bateman can win one-on-one matchups. Mark Andrews, Isaiah Likely, we know what they can do. The question is, how do you stop this offense? You better have a damn good pass rush that can get to Lamar quick. That's the way you beat this. Because if he has time, because I don't remember what the exact stat was, but they showed it on the game. When he was protected, Lamar Jackson numbers were very good. And you can probably say, well, damn, that can apply to anybody. If you give him time to throw the ball, his numbers should look good. That is true. But Lamar Jackson looked really good when he had time to throw the ball. You get pressure, or you get pressure with your front four. That's one way you beat this Ravens team, is with pressure. Exactly. Conscious Broody, what's up, baby? You get pressure. You get pressure, and when I say pressure, I mean pressure through the middle, pressure through the sides. Make Lamar Jackson's clock in his head move faster. Make it move faster, because the faster Lamar Jackson has to think, the better chance you got of him making a mistake. It's just as simple as that. Thank you everybody for tuning into the Double R podcast show. This is your boy Retro Recap, talking Ravens football. I appreciate you guys a lot for coming in. All right, so we talked about the new look offense. We talked about Lamar Jackson. We talked about the receiver. Let's get over to the defense. I still think to this point the Ravens have the best linebacker duo in the league. Roquan Smith, Patrick Queen looked as advertised. Roquan Smith, no, he's not Ray Lewis, but damn it, he's damn good. He's almost like Ray Lewis. The man's a tackling machine. It's not even fair to compare anybody to Ray Lewis at this point. Ray Lewis is fucking Ray Lewis, but Roquan Smith is fucking Roquan Smith.
Holy shit.
8 solo tackles, 8 assisted tackles, 16 total tackles. He got a sack on a delayed blitz. And on top of that, when he got that sack, I think that was in the third quarter, the Houston Texans were driving. I think there was a flag called on, was it Matabike? Matabike had a lot of face mask penalties. And Matabike had like 4 flags on him. It was something crazy. I'm like, Matabike, what are you doing? But they had just got, I don't know if it was a roughing the pass. It was something that got the Texans a first down. And then Roquan Smith comes in on a delayed blitz and hits CJ Stroud to basically put them back where they were at, because the yards from the penalty moved them up, but then Roquan's sack moved them back. So Roquan Smith, as advertised, you paid him all that guaranteed money. I mean, he's the real deal. I mean, at this point, Roquan Smith is that damn good. Patrick Queen, you didn't sign Patrick Queen, but I promise you, if you keep this linebacker duo in place with Patrick Queen and Roquan, I promise you, they will deliver, because Patrick Queen's fast as shit. Roquan Smith is a tackling machine. The two of them together are like peanut butter and jelly. Roquan Smith is not as fast as Patrick Queen. Patrick Queen is not a tackling machine like Roquan Smith. The two together is dynamic. You know what I'm saying? Patrick Queen had a sack as well. Patrick Queen has been playing good ever since last year. Like a little bit before Roquan got there, he's been playing good. Like I mean, I like PQ. Trenton Simpson, I didn't see much of Trenton Simpson last game. I'm gonna look more into him in the next game. And as a matter of fact, I'm gonna look at the highlights again and see. And I'm gonna look at some all 22 film from some people that I watch and see if I know it's Trenton Simpson anywhere. But they drafted Trenton Simpson, and there was a lot of speculation. Oh, this is Patrick Queen's replacement. How can you draft a linebacker when you already got a first round linebacker? You know what I'm saying? So maybe that was to put pressure on Patrick Queen to be like, look, you gotta handle your business, dog, because we got your replacement right here. Your replacement is right here. If you don't step your game up, you're out the door. We didn't sign you to a contract. You know what I'm saying? So we have your replacement. If we let you walk, your replacement's right here. But Patrick Queen's been playing good. I expect the Ravens, if Patrick Queen continues to ball, I expect the Ravens to give him a contract in this season. You just can't let that kind of talent go. You know what I'm saying? He just needed Roquan Smith to really, I mean, is Patrick Queen a #1 linebacker? I don't think so. But complimenting Roquan, he's a beast. He's an absolute beast. Let's get to defensive line. Jadeveon Clowney, underrated signing towards the end of the season, looked really good. Jadeveon Clowney always was a guy that can get pass rush, good in run defense, but never can get the sacks. Same case here. He was in the backfield a lot. He was in CJ Stroud's face a lot, chasing him around. He didn't get a sack, but he looked damn good. I'm very excited to see Jadeveon Clowney going forward, terrorizing average offensive lines. Now, the Texans had a lot of injuries on the offensive line in the middle of the game. They had a few injuries. They were down to a couple tackles and guards in that game. So you can make what you want of that with them being limited down on the depth chart. Jadeveon is an absolute beast. And the thing about it is, unless you watch him play, you just look at the stat sheet and like, oh, well, 2019, he didn't have that many sacks. Like, so is he really good? You have to watch him play. And with him being on the Ravens, this man can pass rush like anybody. He can get in the backfield. He can play run defense. He just, for some reason, he can't close the deal all the time on and getting the sack. But this man is really good, and I'm surprised that he did not get signed by anybody else until that late in the season. And maybe that was his choice. Maybe he didn't want to go through training camp and OTAs. Maybe he didn't want to go through that process. So a lot of veterans, I know Justin Houston did it last year, where they don't want to go through all that. They want to get signed right before the season start, you know what I'm saying, and get to work, you know what I'm saying. So maybe that's what it was. But I promise you, Jadeveon Clowney looks like a fucking beast. And I'm very optimistic now after like really looking at how Clowney looked, along with Ajabo, who had a fumble, by the way, which was a beautiful play. Absolutely. Ajabo, I promise, he's another one. He came from Michigan. He played with Jim Harbaugh. That's John Harbaugh's brother. You already know they got the intel. This Ajabo kid, trust me, I coached him in college. Harbaugh, bro. If you can get your hands on this guy, get him. What the Ravens do? He got injured in the workouts last year in Indianapolis. What the Ravens do? They still drafted him high. They still drafted him as a first-round pick. They still drafted. I'm sorry. Was Ajabo? I'm tripping. Was Ajabo first or second-round pick? Regardless, they drafted him early. No team wanted to take a chance on the guy that was injured. The Ravens like, fine, we'll let you sit rehab for a year, but we know your talent as a playmaker. You can make plays, so we'll let you sit, let you get healthy. Year 2, I promise you're gonna wreak havoc. Was it second round? Okay, that's what I thought, second round. But a lot of teams didn't even want to do that because of the injury. The Ravens was like, fine, you don't want him, we'll take him. And I guarantee you, he was a first-round talent. He's gonna be a steal. He's gonna be a steal, I promise you. He had a fumble, looked really good, pass rush. Owe, the Odafe Owe, he's another one. You look at his stats, you like, damn, Odafe Owe, why your sack number so low? But Odafe Owe, he gets pressure. Same thing in this game. He gets pressure. He just can't get sacks. But I think with the addition of Clowney and Ajabo now playing, and don't get me started with Matabike, minus the penalties, Matabike looked good. Matabike and Michael Pierce stuffing that middle line. Woo-hoo. See, the thing about it is Michael Pierce was hurt last year. He played like 1 or 2 games last year and got hurt. I think Michael Pierce is a great run stuffer. He played with the Ravens before. He knows the system. He knows the Ravens way. Matabike is getting better every year in the middle. You don't even need Brandon Williams anymore, because they got rid of Brandon Williams because they knew Matabike was that guy. And I think he's living up to that. This defensive line has a lot of potential. Travis Jones had a penalty. I forgot what quarter it was in. It was like, oh my God. But Penalties, it was week 1. I'm not going to get on them about the penalties. If I see this again in week 2, then it's a problem. Matabike, Clowney, Adafe Owe, David Ajabo. I'm very excited. Last year we had Jason Pierre-Paul, Justin Houston, Owe. You know what I'm saying? I'm excited. I'm excited to see the development of this defensive line. You know what I'm saying? They're going to have to hold it down because the secondary is, the secondary is a mess right now. And from an injury standpoint, they held their own against the Texans. I mean, CJ Stroud, rookie, you know what I'm saying? You got some young pieces there. That was the true test. The true test is going to come next week when you play the Bengals. First of all, the Bengals are pissed off. They lost to the Browns. You scored 3 points. Joe Burrow had under 100 yards. And it's their home opener. They're going to come into that game pissed. And they're looking, and considering what happened in the playoffs last year, they're going to be looking to light that secondary up. And they have shown at times that they can light the Ravens secondary up, albeit injuries here or there, whatever. The Ravens are going to come in injured again against the Bengals. The only time the Ravens really were healthy secondary-wise against the Bengals was in a playoff game, which they should have won, but I'm not going to get into that. Mostly every time we play the Bengals, our secondary is hurt. Marcus Peters hurt. Marlon Humphrey hurt. Jimmy Smith hurt. There's always somebody. So we'll have to see. But I promise you, that defensive line, what's up, official? The defensive line's gonna have to hold it down. The linebackers, we already know Roquan, Patrick Queen, they're gonna do their thing. Tyus Bowser, we know they're gonna do their thing. But Matabike, Owe, Ajabo, Clowney, Travis Jones, they're gonna have to carry this the front line and get pressure on Joe Burrow, because Joe Burrow with time, Jamar Chase, T. Higgins, Tyler, they're gonna light it up. So we'll see. Okay, let's get into the cornerbacks. We already know no Marlon Humphrey. I didn't even see Rock Ya-Sin yesterday. I don't know. I gotta get more information on what happened with him. I thought they signed him and they didn't re-sign Marcus Peters. I thought I was going to see Rock Ya-Sin up there. I don't know if it was because he didn't practice much. I don't know. I gotta get more information on that. But Ronald Darby looked pretty good at times. Brandon Stevens laid the wood on somebody one time. Was that Brandon Stevens or was that Ronald Darby? One of those guys laid the wood on one of the plays. I was like, damn. When Marlon Humphrey comes back, they'll look much better. The problem is Marcus Williams got hurt again. I don't know what the extent of Marcus Williams' injury is, but he got hurt again. He got hurt early in the season last year. He came back and looked pretty good. When Marcus Williams is on the field, he's good. The problem is he gets hurt, and the Ravens signed him to that contract after the whole, they got rid of Earl Thomas. Well, that was back in 2019, but they never really had a replacement for Earl Thomas. They got Marcus Williams. I was like, okay, I like this. And then he gets hurt. So Kyle Hamilton, didn't really see much of him, but we already know Kyle Hamilton is going to be developing in year 2. The secondary is still what we're looking to see. That's my biggest question mark, is secondary wise. How are the secondary going to look now with these injuries? Which leads me into my next topic here. Injuries. Before we preview or talk a little bit about week 2 matchup. Injuries. J.K. Dobbins done for the year. It sucks. As I mentioned in the open, this man was looking to get paid, looking to get a contract. And this is why teams are hesitant to give out deals to running backs, because of stuff like this. As I mentioned earlier, injuries can happen to anybody. Imagine if the Ravens paid J.K. Dobbins and then week 1 this happens. It happened with Ronnie Stanley back in 2020. You gave Ronnie Stanley that mega deal. The very next week, he's hurt. Done for the year. Done for the rest of 2020. Didn't play much of 2021. Only played 1 game in 2021. You just gave him a fat deal. This is why teams are hesitant to give out these contracts, especially the running backs. Luckily for the Ravens have depth. I think Gus Edwards is just as good as J.K. Dobbins. People don't talk about that. Let's not talk about Gus Edwards. He doesn't go backwards. He only gets forward yards. He only progresses. If he gets the ball, he's not getting tackled for a loss. It's very rare you see him get tackled for a loss. He's giving you 1 or more yards every run. And as long as you're moving forward, not backwards, that's the key with running backs. And I'm not saying J.K. Dobbins wasn't the same, but it's beautiful to know that you have a good backup running back in Gus Edwards that can carry the load. Let's hope that he stays healthy though, because Gus Edwards got injured in 2021 and was limited in 2022. Let's hope he stays healthy, because if he stays healthy, I'm okay. The Ravens will be in good shape with Gus Edwards, Mitchell, and Melvin Gordon. Even though Melvin Gordon, you know, he has ball handling issues sometimes, but he's a good depth piece. He's not your primary guy. And don't even get Justice Hill, who had 2 touchdowns yesterday, 2 rushing touchdowns. I said it when they drafted Justice Hill. I said this guy's explosive, but he never got attention because you had Mark Ingram, you had you drafted J.K. Dobbins, you had Gus Edwards. The one year was it 2021? You had Latavius Murray, you had Devontae Freeman. So Justice Hill really never got spotlight on because there was always other running backs in front of him. I think Todd Monken loves Justice Hill. I think Todd Monken loves explosive, shifty playmakers. Lamar Jackson, Zay Flowers. Justice Hill is very fast, very shifty. Todd Monken's gonna love him. You see, they gave him the ball on the goal line. They gave Justice Hill the ball on the goal line. He's their smallest back. You got big Gus Edwards. You had J.K. Dobbins. You gave Justice Hill the ball on the goal line, and he scored 2 touchdowns. To me, if you just analyze on that, to me that tells me Todd Monken likes what Justice Hill brings to the table. Because usually when you get down to the goal line, you try and bring your biggest, most powerful back in to get those yards, and ideally that would be a Gus Edwards spot. But no, they called Justice Hill number, and he took it in for 2 touchdowns. So we'll have to see. I like Justice Hill. I think he's explosive. It was 2 days after he signed. Yeah, exactly. Ronnie Stanley. Literally, they signed him. They had a game against the Titans in 2020. He got hurt. AFC is going to be a dogfight. It is. It really is, man. It really is. So here's the deal. J.K. Dobbins is done for the season. That was confirmed during the game and right after the game. It was confirmed. Sucks for J.K. Dobbins because I'm a big J.K. Dobbins fan. I really am. It was hard to make an argument for him to get paid because honestly, you really only had one solid full year of playing time, and that was your rookie year, 2020. Since then, 2021 you missed. 2022 you was in and out. 2023 you're hurt again for the year. I mean, I can't make a case for J.K. I mean, I love the guy, but I can't make a case for him to get paid. And the Ravens are definitely not going to pay him now because he's hurt. And he was on the last year of his deal. So, as much as I love him, I think you may have seen the last of J.K. Dobbins in a Ravens uniform. He got a touchdown, wonderful. But I think that's it. I just don't see a world where J.K. Dobbins gets a contract with the Ravens. I'm not sure who would sign J.K. Dobbins to a contract. It's not that he's bad. It's just if you're signing him to a contract, at this point, it's got to be incentive based. You can't give him guaranteed money because he can't guarantee stay on the field. And then when he's out with injury, he's out for long periods of time, out for the season, type of thing. It's not like he's out for like 3-4 games. He's out for the season. 2021, he's gone. In preseason, 2020, this year, he's gone. He played a half a game, and he's gone. I can't make an argument for J.K. Dobbins to get a contract with the Ravens. I can't make a case for J.K. Dobbins to get a guaranteed contract with anybody because you haven't stayed on the field. That's the whole point I was making about him wanting a contract before the season started. Like J.K., let's pull your resume out here. I love you, dog. I love you. Let's pull a resume out. You had a great season, 2020. 2021, you didn't play. 2022, you were in and out. You were still recovering from the injury. When you came back after the second surgery, you looked pretty good. 2023, you got hurt. So you only played 1.5 seasons. I can't justify a contract Now I don't know what kind of numbers he was looking for, but I can't justify a long-term contract with guaranteed money to a guy that gets injured. Now I don't know because they were having contract talks. I don't know what the contract talks consisted of. Maybe Eric DeCosta was like, okay, all right, dog, we'll give you incentive base because you can't stay healthy. Maybe JK wanted more guaranteed money. I don't know, but if JK wanted more guaranteed money, and I'm looking at the full resume here, I'm looking like, whoa, where are you getting guaranteed from? I mean, I can't guarantee you because you can't stay on the field. So, you know, it sucks for him because he's a great guy. I love J.K. Dobbins. I actually loved him when we was in Ohio State. Great guy. I really do. And it's hard to even sit here and talk about him about not deserving a contract because he's really good. He's a really good player, really good guy. Injuries are a part of the game. You can't stay on the field. Can't make a case for you. I think he will sign with another team, but we'll see. Offensive side of the ball, Ronnie Stanley got injured as well. I don't know at this current time what is the news on that. It looked bad at one point, but I don't think it's season ending, but who knows? I'm not a doctor. I don't know. I don't have the news on that, but just based off it looked bad, and I was getting concerned like, oh my goodness, here we go again with Ronnie Stanley again. Once again, another case. 2020, you play half the season. 2021, you missed everything. 2023, who knows what the severity of it is this case, but we need a good left tackle, a durable left tackle. You know what I'm saying? He's not Jonathan Ogden, but then again, who is? You know, I don't need you to be Jonathan Ogden. I just need you to be solid and be healthy. You know what I'm saying? So we'll see what happens there. Tyler Linderbaum, man, they used their first round pick on a center last year, and he's a damn good one. When he's out there, he's really good. You can't afford to lose Tyler Linderbaum for any extended period of time. Now, in the actual game, they showed him walking off with his own power, so that was great. He walked off with his own power. So hopefully the injury isn't as bad as it looked initially. Like somebody rolled on his ankle, and it looked bad. But he walked off with his own power, so I'm hoping so. Hoping that's good. Marcus Williams, I mean, it looks like it's a season-ending injury. I don't know, but I promise you, that's a big blow for that secondary. They spent a lot of money on him. He's very productive when he's out there. You can't afford to have Marcus Williams gone for the whole season. If he's gone for 5-6 games, fine. At this point, we'll take that. The trend I'm starting to see with Marcus Williams is that he's going to miss time. The hope is that he doesn't miss serious amount of time or season-ending injury type of time. So that's the big injuries out there. You know what I'm saying? We already know Mark Andrews is already injured coming into the game. Hopefully he's back next week. We're going to need you. Mitchell's on IR. So we'll have to see how that looks. All right. Thank you everybody for tuning into the Double R podcast. This is your boy Retro Recap. Last topic for the show. Week two, the Ravens got to play the Cincinnati Bengals. We already know the history there. Last year, the Ravens won the game at home. The Bengals won the last game of the regular season. Then they won the following week in the playoffs. There's a rivalry here. Lamar Jackson did not play the last game of the season. Lamar Jackson did not play the playoff game, obviously. Lamar Jackson did beat the Bengals in that first matchup last year in Baltimore. Lamar Jackson is expected to play this week. The Ravens almost beat the Bengals in the playoffs last year with Tyler Huntley as quarterback, no Rashad Bateman. I mean, damn, who did the Ravens have as a receiver in that playoff game? I'm just trying to think, because it's like the fact that game was competitive. I mean, mainly because of defense. If Tyler Huntley didn't fumble that ball, we'd be talking about a whole different thing. Given how the Bengals looked and Joe Burrow came with an injury, recovering from an injury, this is a game that the Ravens should win. I did not like how the offense looked, but it was week one. I expect improvement. I expect the Ravens to win this game. Now, my prediction may change over the course of the week because it depends on what the injuries. But just from looking at it, even with our secondary being hindered a little bit, I think this offense, if Deshaun Watson and that offense can do that, put up 24 points, it wasn't really all Deshaun Watson. I think Lamar Jackson and these receivers can do the same thing. Let me know what you guys think. I think I'm predicting, this is an early prediction, early in the week prediction. This is a Monday prediction. I think the Ravens win that game 27-17. 27-17, early prediction. Ravens go into Cincinnati and beat the Bengals. Bengals go 0-2, Ravens go 2-0. Would I be shocked if the Ravens lost? No, it's the Bengals. The Bengals actually play the Ravens very well. They beat the Ravens. So who's to say? All right. Early predictions. If you guys have any questions, you can send them to me in a Discord. You can email them to me. I'm gonna put my email in the chat for you. And what I'll do, I will answer your question on a live stream. The next live stream that we do, I will answer your questions in the live stream. So feel free to, did that message go through? I think it did. Feel free to email me or send me a message on Discord, and I will answer your question live on the next podcast. Everybody, I appreciate you guys coming through. We talked about all the topics that I wanted to talk about. I appreciate you being. We talked about Lamar. We talked about the Ravens winning. We talked about the new look offense. We talked about Lamar Jackson, the receivers, the defense, the injuries, and a preview to week 2 of my predictions. Now, we did make prediction videos. I did make a prediction video on the YouTube short, and a lot of my predictions were actually wrong. I predicted the Falcons to lose. I predicted the Vikings to win, and a lot of things didn't go right. We'll talk about that in the next video, but I'm not off to a great start. Hopefully week 2, I'm off to a great start. And I did predict the Jets to win this game tonight against the Buffalo Bills. Aaron Rodgers' debut, we shall see. Anyway, thank you guys for tuning into the Double R podcast. This is your boy Retro Recap. Expect to see more content coming soon. And with that being said, I'm out. Peace. Not gonna hold you, Burger Gnome. Not gonna hold you. I did pick the Chiefs. I picked the Chiefs. I'm not even gonna sit there and act like I sat there and picked the Lions. I did not pick the Lions. I am not shocked the Lions won because the Lions played really good last year. Really good last year. I'm not shocked, but I did not pick the Lions to win that. Did not pick the Lions to win. All right. Thank you guys. We out here. Peace. Thank you. Thank you. Be easy, everybody.